Hey, podcast lovers, settle in and get cozy. This is Native English Conversations.
Your ultimate English listening podcast to boost your skills while you're chilling, commuting, or just vibing out.
Okay, real talk. How many times have you been deep into an episode, heard something like, "What's up?" or "Tune in later," and thought, wait, how do I actually say that? Or maybe you catch zone out or binge it, and you're like, okay, cool, but what's the deal?
I feel you. I've talked to tons of listeners who ace textbook English but totally blank when it's that casual podcast-style flow. They've got "How are you?" down, but the everyday stuff podcasters drop. That's a whole new game.
Exactly why we're here today. We're unpacking daily phrases that'll have you sounding fluent and natural, tailor-made for podcast fans. No pressure, no boring rules, just real English you can sprinkle into your chats.
And it's Liam and Emily here, your hosts for Native English Conversations. This is where you learn English on your terms, while you're walking the dog, winding down, or even half asleep.
Yeah, no stiff desks or flashcards needed. Just plug in those earbuds, kick back, and let it roll. Doze off mid-episode? We won't judge.
Today, we're diving deep. Tons of phrases, what they mean and how to use them, all wrapped in podcast vibes. Listen, repeat if you're feeling it, and let these stick with you naturally.
Ready to dive in?
Let's hit it with the first phrase.
Kicking off with "What's up?" You've heard this in every podcast intro ever, right? But what's it really about, and how do you throw it back?
It's a total podcast staple, super laid back. It's like, how's it going? But cooler, less formal. Hosts use it to vibe with guests or pull you in as a listener.
Picture this. You're texting a buddy about a pod you both love. You'd hit them with, "Hey, what's up?" It's easy, friendly, no fuss.
And when someone asks you, keep it chill. Try, "Not much, just chilling with my latest episode," or "All good, you?"
It's all about the vibe. Let's test it. Emily, what's up?
"Not much, just vibing to some true crime. Got me on edge. You?"
Same, but I'm cracking up to a comedy pod. Can't stop laughing.
Next up, tune in. If you're a podcast fan, this one's in your blood.
It's all about locking into something, like listening to a show or episode. You hear hosts say, "Tune in next week for more."
So if your friend's like, "What's your plan tonight?" you could say, "Gonna tune into that new podcast everyone's hyping up." It's your audio commitment.
Yeah, it's like saying, "I'm all in for this." Example, "Hey Emily, you free later?"
No, tuning into a history pod I'm obsessed with. You?
Same, got a tech episode I can't wait to tune into. All right, next, catch up. This is gold for podcast junkies.
It's about getting back on track, like when your queue's overflowing with unlistened episodes.
You might say, "I've got to catch up on my true crime pod. I'm 3 episodes behind, and the suspense is killing me."
Or with a friend, "Hey, let's catch up over coffee and rant about that series we've both missed."
Example, "Hey Emily, you caught up on that storytelling pod yet?"
Not yet, still catching up from last month's chaos. You?
Same, life's been a whirlwind.
Next, drop in. This one's so podcast friendly.
It means jumping into something casually, like a live episode or a random chat.
Think, "I dropped into this bonus episode last night and it blew my mind." It's low stakes, just dipping your toes in.
Perfect for those spur-of-the-moment listens. Example, "Hey Emily, you drop into that Q&A EP yet?"
Yeah, dropped in while cooking, pure gold. You?
Same, caught it on my run, great stuff.
Next, zone out. Every podcast fan's guilty pleasure.
It's when your brain checks out mid-listen, like the host's droning on and you're daydreaming about dinner.
Been there. You'd say, "I zoned out during that long interview. Too much fluff."
Example, "Hey Emily, you ever zone out on those marathon episodes?"
Oh yeah, zoned out during a 2-hour ramble yesterday. You?
Same, but I tuned back in when it got juicy.
Now, binge it. This is the podcast addict's anthem.
It's when you plow through episodes like there's no tomorrow. Think a whole season in one lazy Sunday.
You could say, "I binged that mystery pod all weekend. Couldn't peel myself away."
Example, "Hey Emily, weekend plans?"
Binging a new science fiction series I stumbled on. You?
Same, gonna binge a comedy pod. Need those laughs bad.
Next, stay hooked for when a podcast grabs you and won't let go.
Means you're obsessed, like every episode's got you counting down to the next.
Like, I stayed hooked on this crime pod all week. Those twists are unreal.
Example. Hey, Emily, still hooked on that travel series?
Oh yeah, stayed hooked since the first drop. You?
Same, can't quit this food pod, mouth-watering stuff.
Next, skip ahead, a pro move for podcast vets.
It's jumping past the boring bits like ads or that 5-minute intro you don't need.
You'd say, I skipped ahead 30 seconds to get to the good part of the episode.
Example. Hey, Emily, you skip ahead in long pods?
Yeah, skip the sponsor plug today. Straight to the meat. You?
Same. Bypass the chit-chat for the story.
Next, queue up, your podcast life's best friend.
It's about stacking your listen list. Like, I queued up 3 episodes for my road trip.
Super practical. You might say, I've got a whole series queued up for my downtime.
Example. Hey, Emily, what's in your queue right now?
Queued up some self-help pods. Need a boost. You?
Same. Got a cooking series queued. Hungry just thinking about it.
Next, wind down. Podcast fans live for this one.
It's relaxing with a chill episode. Like easing into the night after a crazy day.
Try I'm winding down with a meditation pod tonight. Pure calm.
Example. Hey, Emily, how do you wind down?
Wind down with a nature pod. So soothing. You?
Same. Love a storytelling one to mellow out. Next, fade out. Another podcast gem.
It's when something, like a convo or episode, slowly winds down or loses steam.
Like, that interview faded out after the first 20 minutes. Kinda lost me.
Example. Hey Liam, you notice episodes fading out lately.
Yeah, that last one faded out hard. Too much fluff. You?
Same, skipped it when it started fading. Next, pick it up. Perfect for getting back into the groove.
Means restarting something. Like picking up a pod you dropped a while back.
You'd say, I picked up that old series again. It's better than I remembered.
Example. Hey, Emily, you pick up any old pods lately?
Yeah, picked up a music one I forgot about. Solid vibes. You?
Same, picked up a sports pod, back in the game.
Next, check out, a must for podcast explorers.
It's about trying something new, like, I checked out this random pod and it's wild.
You might tell a friend, you've got to check out this new series, it's fire.
Example. Hey, Emily, checked out anything new lately?
Yeah, checked out a wellness pod. Pretty cool. You?
Same, checked out a gaming one. Hooked already.
Next, plug in, literally and figuratively podcast ready.
Means connecting, like plugging in your earbuds to dive into a listen.
Say, I plugged in for a long episode last night. Totally worth it.
Example. Hey, Emily, you plug in much this week?
Yeah, plugged in for a deep dive pod. Mind blown. You?
Same, plugged in for a movie recap. Awesome.
Next, run long. Every listener's love-hate phrase.
It's when an episode stretches. Like, that pod ran long, but I didn't mind.
Or, it ran long, so I skipped the end. Too much filler.
Example. Hey, Emily, any pods run long lately?
Yeah, that last one ran long. Great, but exhausting. You?
Same, ran long, but kept me hooked.
Next, loop back for those rewind moments.
Means going back, like, I looped back to catch that part I missed.
You might say, loop back to the intro, it's worth it.
Example. Hey, Emily, you ever loop back on episodes?
Yeah, loop back to a twist I spaced on. Crazy. You?
Same, looped back for a killer quote.
Next, tune out, the flip side of tuning in.
It's when you disconnect, like, I tuned out when it got boring.
Say, I tuned out after 10 minutes, lost the vibe.
Example. Hey, Emily, you tune out much?
Yeah, tuned out of a dull EP yesterday. You?
Same, tuned out when the guest rambled.
Next, hit play, the start of every podcast sesh.
Means kicking things off, like, I hit play on a new pod this morning.
You'd say, hit play on this one, you won't regret it.
Example. Hey, Emily, what did you hit play on today?
Hit play on a fitness pod, motivating stuff. You?
Same, hit play on a Car Talk 1, revved up.
Next, wrap up, for when it's time to close it out.
Means finishing, like, they wrapped up the EP with a bang.
Or, I wrapped up my listen and jumped to the next one.
Example. Hey, Emily, any good wrap-ups lately?
Yeah, that last ep wrapped up perfectly. Chills. You?
Same, wrapped up with a solid cliffhanger.
Last one, keep it rolling for that non-stop podcast flow.
Means staying in the groove, like, I kept it rolling with back-to-back eps.
Say, keep it rolling with this series. It's a ride.
Example, hey Emily, you keep it rolling lately?
Yeah, kept it rolling with a drama pod. Intense. You?
Same, kept it rolling with some interviews, can't stop.
And that's our wrap up for today's episode of Native English Conversations.
We've unloaded 20 killer phrases for podcast fans. Everything from tune in to keep it rolling.
Whether you're binging, zoning out, or queuing up your next listen, these are your go-to phrases to sound native and roll with the podcast life.
Use them, play with them, and watch how natural they feel. You'll be chatting like a pro in no time.
Loved this? Smash that like button, drop us a comment, and hit subscribe for more English vibes on Native English Conversations.
We want to hear from you. What's your fave phrase today? What pods got you hooked? Spill it. We're obsessed with your takes.
Seriously, we read every comment. Love seeing how you're rocking these phrases in your world.
Big thanks for tuning in. Keep hitting play, stacking that cue, and we'll catch you next time on Native English Conversations.
Take it easy, podcast fam.
See ya!